Hello, we're with It's Working Out Golf Fitness Studio in Cincinnati. We often talk about the importance of warming up to swing a club, not swinging a club to warm up. I'm Kristen, the owner of It's Working Out and a Level 3 Titleist Performance Institute certified trainer.
And I'm Joey Ryan, I'm a golf specialist here.
For the most efficient golf swing, it's important that you move well on all 4 rotary centers that we use for golf. One of them is the hips. Let's start with that. Joey's going to lunge forward with his right leg 5 times as he reaches overhead. You want to make sure you're feeling a nice stretch in the back leg hip flexor group, and he's reaching up, stretching his lats, warming up through his shoulders. He's going to start to drive off that front heel so he knows his glutes are activated. Another important tool for the golfer. After 5, you're going to come forward and now rotate over that front knee. Rotating over that front knee. Starting to get some rotation through his thoracic spine. Feeling that hip flexor group stretch as his glutes are activating in the front leg. After Joey finishes 5 or so, he's just going to repeat on the other side. So stepping forward, reaching overhead. Left hip flexor group stretching, pushing off the front heel for some glute activation. Now he's rotating through. We're starting to get some movement into that thoracic spine, which is another key area to have mobility in golf. And when he finishes this hip series, we're gonna do a bigger focus on the thoracic mobility. Now to get some hip rotation, let's do some basic gaits. You can hold your golf club on the floor for a little balance help, and just come on up and over like you're stepping over a baby gate each way. And he'll take 5 or so to get loose, and then he'll switch to the other side. This is also beneficial to work on balance. Balance is very important for golf. It's going to be hard not to have unwanted lateral movement in your swing if you have some balance insufficiencies. We just showed you a few exercises that will get those hips moving before your round of golf. Third area of rotation we want to warm up are shoulders. Joey's going to start with a fairly wide grip on the club and just starting to rotate, working on some shoulder mobility. Let's go 5 each direction. And then he'll take it into his lats. So just arms will come up overhead and he'll start to go side to side, stretching out the side of his body and through his lats. If a golfer's lats are tight in their lead side, it's going to be really hard to get to where you want to be in your backswing without either shortening that swing or coming out of posture. Once Joey feels like his lats are loosened up, he'll take a narrow grip on the club and start with just some side to side, getting the wrist moving a bit. And then he'll take some wrist flexion and wrist extension, getting the forearm muscles loose. Hoping to keep those forearms mobile and strong to prevent elbow issues with the golf swing. Third area of rotation we want to warm up are shoulders. Joey's going to start with a fairly wide grip on the club and just starting to rotate, working on some shoulder mobility. Let's go 5 each direction. And then he'll take it into his lats. So just arms will come up overhead and he'll start to go side to side, stretching out the side of his body and through his lats. If a golfer's lats are tight in their lead side, it's going to be really hard to get to where you want to be in your backswing without either shortening that swing or coming out of posture. Once Joey feels like his lats are loosened up, he'll take a narrow grip on the club and start with just some side to side, getting the wrist moving a bit. And then he'll take some wrist flexion and wrist extension, getting the forearm muscles loose. hoping to keep those forearms mobile and strong to prevent elbow issues with the golf swing. Another exercise that Joey and I suggest for golf warm-up is pelvic tilt. However, I think you look a little ridiculous doing this on the first tee, so maybe do this at home before you get to the course. Having a club will assist this exercise. You're gonna start with an arch of the spine and then a tilt. So it's just your pelvis that's moving into that tilted position, arch and flatten, arch and flatten. This is a bonus exercise for loosening up that thoracic spine. You can carry this in your golf bag, okay? All you need to get is 2 tennis balls or lacrosse balls and put them in a sock, as shown here. So what we're gonna do is you're gonna sit down on the ground. You're gonna place this peanut right below your belly button. And then I want you to take that pelvic tilt that I demoed, so I'm gonna tilt my pelvis. It's gonna feel as if someone's thumbs are pressing on either side of my spine. And from there, I'm gonna crunch up 3 times. Take a lift of the hips, bring the peanut up another inch or 2. Sink the hips back down. Tilt your pelvis to press into that, and if it's not too uncomfortable, crunch 3 more times. As we start to travel up the spine, you might feel stickier. If this gets to the point that it's very uncomfortable, leave the crunch out. So again, I'm gonna lift my hips, I'm gonna bring this a couple inches higher, and then I'm gonna crunch a few times. After this next one, it's gonna be easier for me to scoot forward a couple inches than to lift. So when you get to that point where that makes sense, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna arch over. Again, if you feel too sticky here, hold here. If not, press into that ball and roll up a few times. And then we're gonna travel up towards the top of the shoulder blades. Again, I'm gonna stretch over. I'm getting a nice stretch through my chest, a nice extension in that thoracic region. And I'm gonna take 3 more crunches. And that is such a good warm up for that middle back.
All right, thanks for watching. I hope you feel as good as I do.